Can you hear me?
Check. Check.
Yeah. Let me check. Let me see. Um, you know what? Let's try something. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay, yeah. I guess it's the microphone. I don't know. I unplugged my microphone.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, I get because I just used it the other day, which is weird. But
Yeah, because
yeah,
it's still picking me up on mine. So, all right, cool.
yeah.
All right. Sorry about the early pre-production show that you got to watch, folks.
So that's your
Yeah.
6 minutes of behind the scenes of technical con- concerns.
Hold on. At least no words were said amongst.
Yeah, you saw the logo. We put the logo out there, and
no one was like this mother.
I said I wanted Parmesan.
Good evening. I will be mowing the lawn, so I won't be able to chat much, but I shall be listening. And yeah, can hear both loud and clear. Good. And well, Craig,
Okay.
hold on, Craig, you did give us some great stuff here, but I wanted to bring this up that he said to me. I don't know if you saw it, Ladarius, but somebody told me it needed to be sent, so just give it a second. Yeah, I don't know if you saw, but apparently Craig was at his workshop again, saying that doesn't work for him, sister.
Very clever. Very clever.
Yeah. To be fair, after her promo, it was that point she was saying. But yeah, we'll have some fun with all that. Look, I gotta go here. I thought so. Out of the three shows, and we'll talk about Backlash, but I thought NXT brought it again.
Yeah.
Just the suspense, the drama, the Buttafuoco. I mean the D'Angelo family again.
No. I thought you were right the first time.
Yeah, I know. It felt like a bumbling show for a while, but NXT is definitely they are capturing a lot of attention, and Stephanie Vacour, A+ on the outfit, A+, plus. You even made Booker, stutter his words for a while. Oh my Lord. So, all right. Well, look, SmackDown. Look, I think the thing we could say with SmackDown, we got to see Fraxium be a part of the tag team division by going after the Street Profits. Great match. Obviously, everyone's going to say, well, if they're 100% to be different, but you're able to do that, I guess. But love the interaction with all the other teams. So, I thought that match was really good. I thought the Cargill Nia match was good. I know the whole thing with Cena. All I gotta say is this, man. John Cena, coolest character in the bunch, because man, the whole bottle throwing. First of all, if you're throwing a beer bottle at a wrestling show, you're an idiot.
Yeah.
They caught that guy, by the way, and I don't know what happened, but I guarantee he got new bracelets. So I'm like,
on the house, nonetheless.
Yeah. I mean, who knows? Maybe he got to meet John Cena personally. So,
what are you in for? What?
You don't want to know. I threw a bottle. Oh, that's all? It hit John Cena. Oh, you fucked up.
All right. He's going to find you, man.
Oh, shoot, you think you're safe here.
This guy
you
knows
see the guy that went through the table. What?
Table? Yep.
So, I will say this. I thought wrestling all around was good. I thought SmackDown was good. I thought Backlash was okay. I really enjoyed Becky and Lyra. I really did. I thought that was one of my favorite matches of the show. The Fatal 4-Way, it's hard to compete, but I got to say that Fatal 4-Way was probably one of the most fun matches to watch. And really, those were the only matches. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, there was a couple more, but we'll talk about those too. Dang it. So what did you think about SmackDown, and what did you think about at least the beginning part of SmackDown? I was surprised that Backlash, they did Lyra and Becky the second match. I was very surprised. I thought that would be held off.
Yeah, that was very, very interesting to me, card choice wise.
Yeah.
as for SmackDown, I think the biggest thing is like, well, Nia uh versus Jade. You that was a good match, and it's
Yeah.
one of those things where we always talk about like what's next and how we move, title picture wise,
Yeah.
and Jade and Nia are going to be integral in the. I think we get one more Stratton and Nia match. I don't know if Saturday Night Main. I don't know if the card's fully set yet, but and then what's even more exciting about this, I think the Money in the Bank qualifiers will kind of play a role as well as into what's going on between Nia, Jade, and Naomi. It seems,
At
and
least it'll give us something to look forward to now.
yeah, it's so I think that's the huge takeaway. And listen, as for Fraxium, like it's one of those things like for SmackDown, it's like they're the tag team brand. Like
Yeah.
there's it's like no disrespect to Raw, but it's like I think we're going to invest in the tag team division here on SmackDown, and it looks like maybe the women's division may be on Raw, possibly because it feels like that's kind of the way they're going. But listen, as for SmackDown was pretty good, and I know we'll go deeper into Backlash in a minute or so, but like Lyra and Becky, like we're not gonna. I'll say my thoughts when we get there,
Yeah.
but
Let's just say this: it did not, to me, or let me ask you, did it live up to what you were hoping for with that match?
yes. I think if Becky didn't win it, I wanted to, if anything, to elevate Lyra, and I think that
Yeah.
was the mission accomplished. And I think the ending, it kind of plays into it, but other than that, I think it did what it was supposed to do, and it kind of carried over on Raw, which we'll talk about later as well.
Yeah, and we will. Look, I just want to say big shout out because we do have a lot to talk about. So I wanted to make sure that we did put it, in there about SmackDown. I thought SmackDown was a good show. I really did appreciate Jade Cargill. The Charlotte Flair promo was baffling. Thank for God's sake for Jade in the cowgirl outfit. Don't think I did not look past that. But she kind of was our silver bullet hero by basically saying get to the back of the line. I really was hoping she would have looked at Charlotte and says cut the shit, but she didn't. It's TV. But I would have loved it. It would have popped me at least. But oh man, and then Alexa Bliss. I can't lie. I'm intrigued by with this Alexa Bliss. That's what I will say. I like that Selena and Alexa teamed up. I thought that was kind of cool, and because the Wyatt stuff, Aleister Black and Carmelo put on a good match, and I don't know what I like more, the match or freaking Aleister Black's promo. That was freaking a thing of beauty.
I mean, you can like both. I mean, you can
Yeah,
like both.
yeah, no, exactly. I'm just saying, it's good to see that. Hey, you got a guy. Make sure you like. It's like this. Make your time matter.
Yeah, maximize your time. Absolutely.
Yeah, maximize it, man. And if he's doing a promo, a vignette like that, I like that. That works. Dark Side guy. Well, we don't even know these Dark Side. He's like that intermediate guy. I think it's good, and I like that it was a Carmelo, the Carmelo Hayes match, and it was good. I was very surprised with Miz getting the black mask, not Carmelo, but that was a good match. I thought that was really good. Man, shout out to the Profits for doing that match with Fraxium. I was impressed because I'm like going, you could tell. It's like this. If you saw the ladder match, and we gave high praise to it, those guys went all out. So you could tell those. I don't think those were rigged injuries. I think they were legit hurt, and you could tell, man, just God. And I'm going to tell you, the more we see Montez Ford working, this guy's a star. I can't stop. I can't look past it. Go ahead, talk a little bit more about SmackDown. Anything else you want to talk about? I'm going to take this call real quick. I'll be right back.
Sure. So, folks, that means I'm in charge. That means the house rules. No. And so I think one of the things that I enjoyed about, and C-Dub kind of hit on it, is talking about,
doing a podcast.
like Montez Ford, and then, because like I said, Montez Ford, we talked about on the show before, like Montez Ford having that singles run back in Elimination Chamber, after that Elimination Chamber match a couple years ago. But I think they're holding that off because
grab
I
yourself
think SmackDown tag team
home and then I'll see you
is so strong. I think it's so great where like you can keep the Street Profits as champions now make more sense. And I think when you add a team like Fraxium into the mix, already with DIY, already with Pretty Deadly, already with Motor City Machine Guns. So I think they're going to hold off on the Montez run until it runs its course, whenever that is. Because I just don't want it, because how they do tag teams, and we talked about this a bit, is how they kind of view one as maybe being the single star.
Oh, yeah.
If you look at WWE, they have a strong history of doing that.
Yeah.
And what of April or Ron?
Ron, April, yep.
And I'll say this before we get, so I don't want to take too much time. But it's a dynamic that's going to be interesting because, like, Dawkins can kind of go himself. So I don't think he'll be left out of the, if they do, whenever they make that decision. So, like those are my takeaways. It's just like Fraxium adding to a deeper tag team division, like getting some more clarity on what's going to happen for the women's side for Tiffany Stratton's potential opponent, and just it seems that SmackDown is finding its way with the 3-hour thing. I think they're finding a groove because you can fit in a lot of stuff, but listen, like, and think about, like, when I think of 3-hour movies, like a Marvel movie, 3 hours, yes, I get it, because you gotta, it's like this, everyone's gonna get their stuff in. Iron Man's gotta get his stuff in. Hulk's gotta, I think it's about, even in movies, it's hard to kind of do a 3-hour movie because, because you gotta find stuff and then you make storylines that you may not see. It's no different. And I think with SmackDown, they're finding their way in how they're balancing the promos and balancing the matches. And I think that tag team division is going to be stronger now, thanks to Actim. And so I think there's a lot going on, a lot of good stuff going on for SmackDown. I think, like I said, they're navigating that 3-hour window very well.
Yeah. I mean, the rumor is that they'll go to 2 soon, but, right now I think they're doing what they can. And I will say this. The mid-card and the women, or the mid-card and the tag team has been getting a lot more attention, which is really cool. So got to give them credit for that. So let's talk about it, man. Backlash happened, and we had the Fatal 4-Way, which I said was like one of the best matches I thought on the card. Drew McIntyre, damn savage. I don't know how Drew's feeling. I hope he's okay. Everyone wants to talk about how Pat's feeling. How about Drew McIntyre? The man's head bounced off the concrete or missed the table. So I get it. Pat, we're so proud of Pat. Yeah, screw that. Let's give some. When I saw Drew McIntyre, the man that was the MVP of a lot of this stuff, bounces in on, I was like, oh, that's not good. I was like,
that's not supposed to happen. That's not. That doesn't look natural.
Yeah. Oh, God. I mean, and by the way, Jacob Fatu is a great heel, great menace. He just has that face. But, man, if you throw him off, he's got the best. Someone farted in my face, and I don't understand what the hell just happened to me. Because, man, Jeff Cobb showed up. Clotheslined the old boy, LA Knight. And the Weeknd took him out too. I mean, I don't know. Maybe he wasn't ready for another member of the band. But, I mean, look, you won your match. But
at what expense?
Yeah, exactly. Look, he's now the 5th trombone player. Come on, let him in.
Do we need them?
Xylophones.
Oh, we need them. All right.
What did you think about that? I thought that match was great, but what do you think about it?
Yeah. I think it was a great match. I think opening it was it. I think that was the right call. You could have made a case for Becky and Lyra. You could have made a case for either one. But what I love about these fatal 4-way matches, everybody getting their stuff in.
Mm-hmm.
And look, I pray that Drew and Damian Priest are okay, because Damian didn't come. Damian kind of took some stuff as well, and
his face took it too. I mean, because you saw, what was it, when he did it before, he wasn't bleeding. Then when he came out, it's like, oh Lord, this ain't good.
Yeah. It's like when you went like, oh, you were like, oh. It's like when you had to do the double take. But I think it was a great. I think for Jacob Fatu in his title defense, this just further adds to the lore of like this guy he beat. I think it's a great first. In terms of just having this defense here, and then listen, adding Jeff Cobb to the mix makes it interesting, and we kind of sense like maybe he's going to be a part of it, and then him just showing up, and then look, it's going to be quite an interesting decision because it's going to tie into long-term storytelling, obviously, but as for that moment. It's like we have more questions than answers, but for the match itself, like I hope Drew is okay because listen, that's not supposed to happen. That's someone's cranium going on the concrete is not normal.
Look,
don't listen. Don't let movies fool you. Make it think, no. Listen, maybe for Jimmy Hoffa, but for still, As far as buried on, Tony, it don't get me started on that guy.
Oh, you were going to go there.
Hey, how do you
showed up at the safe house?
Like that house doesn't look so safe if anybody can just walk up to it. Like I'm just, I think I'll just say this.
There's a reason I did not watch it with you because I knew whatever commentary you were going to give me that moment. I'm like, no, I gotta have it on the show. I need to be ready for it.
I'm just gonna say this. I'll elaborate more.
Oh yes.
If Stack shows up to the safe house, so can we really call it a safe house? Like I'm just words to me as someone who deals with words matter. I'm gonna leave it at that. I'll get to more. I'm like,
words are so going to matter when we talk about that because, like I said, I have so many questions myself.
And then Tony D took an L. Forget it.
Yeah, well, we got your NXT takeover or NXT speak.
But what I will say, listen, I think it was a great first match, and to me, the takeaway is like, I hope Drew's okay, I hope Damian's okay, and Jeff Cobb is, once again we're just adding dudes. We're adding dudes in to make it, we didn't see no Tonga or any, So I said, well, so or Tonga, I was like, okay, so somebody had to be added. So why not Jeff Cobb? So
yeah.
So
just safety, because I always want people to go in the same way they left. But man, that match was wild. It really was. Love the board at work thing that Damian Priest did too. Shout out to that. Second match of the night, I was stunned because I really wanted this to be semi-main. I really thought it should have been. That's my opinion. But Becky and Lyra, hell of a match. Physical too. What's your thoughts on this, man?
Well, listen. You could have made a case to this be a semi-main event. You could have made the case.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, like, did the Becky fan in me want her to win? Absolutely.
Yeah.
But the bigger goal was that they have a great match. Because some people have to understand. I'm not going to go on a big tangent. But people have to understand. For all the rhetoric we talk about with Becky, in this match, she's done pretty much what she's done the last couple of years. Pretty much for the latter half of her career, is putting people over. And if you think Lyra is over here in Backlash, imagine when we get to SummerSlam.
Yeah.
And how through the moon she could potentially be. In this match, we saw a couple of manhandle slams. We saw and that's what I love, like kicking out of the finisher. It's like Lyra showed she could hang. We all knew she could hang, but the match was physical. It was personal, and that's one of the beauties of storytelling, that it shows through the match, and that's what we saw. Now, people could argue like how Lyra won may not be ideal. It wasn't like I always joke about schoolboy pins on here, but
yeah, you do.
but we kind of low key got that. But I'm like, no, that builds to the story, and this arguably, like I argue, Backlash, the best matches were essentially the first two matches. I'm like, the bar was set with the Fatal 4-Way. Then you give us Becky and Lyra. So whatever came after that, it had to be Taker, Michaels, WrestleMania-esque sort of stuff.
It does like this. I got this.
it's like
needle. Yeah.
And it felt like whatever came on that card next, it had to be sort of like, oh man, they gave us two bangers back to back. But Becky and Lyra, listen, it was just, you can make a case, match of the night, you could, but so can the first match as well. So, like, I thoroughly enjoy like seeing Becky proving once again how to put people over, and making Lyra look great, and then herself looking great at the same time.
Oh yeah,
it was a phenomenal match.
Yeah, I like the attack at the end. And by the way, folks, just remember, Lyra did that also. I know the finish didn't look right, but she was also dealing with her nose being broke. So I think she ended up going to the hospital because of that. So look, tough woman. And then Becky, great match with her. Dom and Penta, if you watch Raw, you saw they showed what happened. Basically, apparently Finn Balor doesn't know how to cheat anymore. This has become a problem because the man took a little too much time grabbing it, went to attack Penta, but realized he didn't have a chair. So he had to go get a chair. And then by that, Eddie Orango's looking at him like, dude, like, I'm just caught you with your hand in the cookie jar. And Finn's like, no, you didn't. I mean, Finn, really, dude, you're supposed to be this mastermind. Your mastermind ain't really kicking like it is. Look, hold on. Finn, do we need to have a talk? I mean, really? I mean, my boy Ladarius knows how to, help you out if you need it.
Yeah. Just send me the deets and listen, we'll send.
Yeah.
Listen, hey, I'm just doing a show. This like a 2.5 hour show for me, but for you, long-term stuff. So,
yeah, man. Yeah. I mean, maybe make you a little sharper too, so you can be a little quicker. I mean, we know how old age hits up, but apparently America Grande Cappuccino decided to come in and do the headbutt with the metal plate in his head. I mean, first of all, I'm cracking up every time I hear people say the metal plate because I just think of this hot Mexican plate in someone's mask, and it's like, and I just have this visual of someone going, dang, this is a hot plate, like they tell you at the Mexican restaurant. I told you, a hot plate. But what did you think about the Intercom? It was a good match. You gave me these two matches before, so I knew it wasn't going to be like, so I just took it for what you gave me. So what do you think?
Yeah, like I said, it's when you're booking, like you essentially booked your two best matches of the night, and anything that came after that, even the main event, would have had to be something to that level. Mm-hmm. And there's no disrespect to Penta, there's no disrespect to Dom. It's just it was a good match. But it just didn't and you can see it in that crowd. in St. Louis. It's like you gave us a banger, and then you give us another banger, and then you give us this. And it's no disrespect, like I say, to Pinto or Dom. They both did great, and even the stuff from yeah. But it wasn't a terrible match. I guess that's the thing. It was a solid match between two solid competitors, and a little like the stuff from Finn is interesting, but it was very hard to top what we saw before, and that's what sucks. It's like being the act that follows the act that follows the act.
Yeah.
And that's what Dom and Penta did. So
it almost was like, look, we're just going to do a match. Don't worry. Just go ahead and put whatever in front of us. Okay. Oh, hell, they really put a lot on us. All right, you ready, Dom? Dom. I just shit my pants. Thanks, Dom. So at least you didn't barf on yourself like that one player, number 5 pick. Anyway. Oh, God. Well, I can't wait to have that talk tomorrow. So do you want to talk about this next match?
I'll take over your role.
Yeah, go ahead.
So switching roles here.
Yeah. Hot tag.
So let's have a conversation. We had Gunther, the Ring General, versus Patrick Aloysius Maleficent McAfee. And listen, the McAfee came out on a jersey. It's Pink Floyd. And Gunther came out as Gunther. And there was some interesting aspects of the match. Wasn't the squash that I thought it would be. But CW, I'm curious to get your thoughts on the match and your takeaways.
Oh, God. I hated this match, first of all. Or what was so funny, he comes in that mesh football jersey. And it's like, almost wanted to go, did you find out that this city used to be the St. Louis Rams, so you can actually wear that color? Because if so, good on you. And I'm like, okay, so he's going to wear a jersey. And then he takes off the jersey, and I went, oh, this is going to be good. And then Michael Cole, I thought had Jim Ross invade his body. And I was waiting for the jar of M&Ms to be attacked upon Gunther. But thank God that didn't happen. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, watch Jerry Lawler and Taz dust-ups. And JR used a jar of M&Ms to stop Taz. That was a legit thing that happened. I think it was at WrestleMania too, or before. I don't remember when. But anyway, but Michael Cole trying to interfere with Gunther, if that match would have ended like that, I wanted Gunther to powerbomb through the table multiple times through Pat McAfee. And by the way, love the stumbling block off the top rope like you've never wrestled before. Stop, Pat. I will say this. This match should not have been as close. They made this match, like him fighting out the sleeper. I was like, really? I get he's a former football player. I get you're trying to, but there's no benefit. It's Gunther. Let Gunther beat him up. Unless you were going to have someone to interfere. If you would have had someone legit interfere, I would have understood it. So let's see. Craig said, it would not surprise me if someday we find out Cole and McAfee were having an affair. This is what's up with those two. Thank you. I really did. I thought it was just me because they were looking too close together. I was like, dude, you guys need to stop. Old man, young man, I don't know what the hell. Pat's wife needs to have a talk with him. Like maybe why is Michael in the bed too? So maybe that needs to happen. But no, seriously, I thought Gunther did his job well. But man, Pat McAfee, it's like this. The chops, you deserve to get chopped. One thing I wish he got that he didn't get, the drop kick. When Gunther does the shotgun drop kick. But that was the only move I was hoping for that he didn't get to deliver. But he did do the power bomb, so I was happy about that. And by the way, in the voice of people I know in indie wrestling, stop with the super kicks. You're not the Young Bucks. He did a punt kick. He did a bro kick. He did a super kick. I'm like, dear God, could Pat stop with the spamming of the kicks? I was at one point. I wish there was a mic on him, but I'm glad there wasn't. And him going, okay, that didn't work. What would work here? Super kick. Oh, that didn't work. Maybe I need to slap my hip harder. Dog. But those were my thoughts about Patrick Aloysius McAfee in Gunther.
Well, you really didn't hold back there. So I felt.
I think I was very well,
Yeah, I don't think you held. I think you
very
didn't hold back.
professional.
Yeah. Oh, come on, Craig.
I mean, Craig kind of throws it out there. I can't really, he's one of our top guys. I mean, it makes you wonder. Do we need to have a talk with Pat's wife? Can she shine light? Why does Michael Cole keep sleeping over all the time? That might need to be an investigative story.
Jesus, just a WWE exclusive, a new WWE show. Pat and Mike together, like,
and Pat be like, "Yeah, we're totally boys," and Michael, "We're gay."
Two marriages destroyed by one deep dark secret. Jesus, it's like, listen, listen. They have I will say this: they have an interesting friendship. And like I say, the stuff Cole did was interesting, leaving the announcer's desk. I'm like, okay. Like, I wasn't mad. I was like, fist of fury angry about it. But it was something that happened, and I don't know how better off we are for it. So there you go.
At least Gunther didn't rip his shirt off and chop him. That would have been really bad too.
Yeah, man. Tessitore to come from the back so fast. I'm at home, but I'll catch the flight.
Hold on. Tessitore walks in with the jacket with the button unbuttoned. Everyone's like, "Where did you come from?" He's like, I caught a flight as soon as I saw. On who? Superman? Yes. The tests don't play. Hey, Wade, how you doing? Wade's like, I'm so glad you got my message. Of course, you hit the test light. Test. Joe Tessitore, as he's making pasta. Oh, someone just hit the test light. I must fly away. Oh, Lord. Yeah, SummerSlam.
Okay,
Yeah, we'll talk about SummerSlam. Okay. He gave me the finger. All right. So let's go to it. John Cena versus Tessitore and Pat and Mike. Nah, man. Tess knows better. He ain't going after Gunther. But I think Tess could take Michael Cole. I would put money on Tess. Tess is Italian. Tess knows some people. He might know Stacks. Because he ain't going to call Tony. He can't do nothing right lately. The safe house got exposed, for God's sakes. So we'll definitely talk about that. I can't wait to talk about NXT. That was some good stuff, too. Especially, Stephanie McCourt's top. Anyway, me and Booker definitely agree. So with that being said, big ups to Randy Orton, John Cena. Now, I'm not going to illustrate the love like Michael Cole does about how great this rivalry is. But I will say this. They both entered the business at the same time, and they both were kicking ass, taking names, and, they had a really good rivalry here and there. A lot of good matches, some not so great, some not so wonderful. I dare say I think this one was one of my favorites. One of my favorites. I don't know about the fans, but I will say I think it's one of my personal favorites because of just the sheer lunacy that happened in this match. So, Ladarius, you back yet? Just so you know. All right, I'll go ahead and just give my spiel, and we'll give Ladarius some time. Let's talk about it. Cena versus Orton. And what people were worried about, this match would be slow, it would be methodical, it would be, how can two old guys really do a match like this for the main event? Folks, have you not seen Randy Orton's matches? They're all slow and methodical. I don't think I've ever seen a high-speed Orton match. So come at there. John Cena, he's working that style too, so it worked very well. This was a match that I think kind of not just married it, but just really made this match easy to watch for me. It really did. For the first 10, 15 minutes, I was just watching it and just enjoying it. The back and forth, the Cena just playing the heel, and Randy being the face. And that was odd to see that, but yet Randy did it well. But it was kind of easy. Randy was being in since St. Louis, so this was like perfect. I thought the ref bump, the first ref bump, because there was more than one, was okay. We got a ref bump. Here we go. They're going to bring another referee in. And then when Cena murdered Eddie Orengo, now understand, folks, the bump before was not like a peaceful tap bump. Dang, Chad Patton got nailed with the stairs. Like he was up against them. And I guess Cena, Orton, they did a splash something, but the ref took the worst of it. So in all Nick Aldis' wise decision, him and all the producers decide to run out there and check on both refs. Maybe had an extra ref with them. None of that. They checked on Eddie Orengo because he took the belt to the head. And Cena's on the floor, and Randy is pinning him. And Randy is going, y'all are not going to count. This is right here, live on TV. And these guys were more concerned about Eddie. Poor Chad, he could be dead, but no one wants to even look at him. Someone should have looked at him and said, you want to see a dead body? There's Chad. They had, I know it was Helms. I know it was, God, who else? It was a weird-looking guy that I didn't know who that was. Davari, and of course, the superstars. If this man is on your TV screen and you get to hear him or see him, because if you see him, that means you can hear that voice of his. You guessed it. By God, that wonderful Jamie Noble got even hit with an RKO. I mean, look, I thought the Hurricane one was funny. I thought that weird-looking dude got dropped. That was a great one. Nick Aldis got dropped. Davari got, and then when he hit Jamie, I was like, oh, you had to. You just had to. Jamie deserved it at that point. And, of course, you just heard Jamie on the outskirts. Now, Randy, oh! And I'm like, thank you. That's all I needed. So, but what did you think about the Randy Orton and Cena? Like I said, to me, the first part of the match was actually okay because they both wrestled that slow grind, speed because they're both old timers, but also that's what Randy's always wrestled. He's never wrestled a fast-paced match. The only time matches end quick for Randy if he just does the RKO and he's done. So, but what did you think about it?
Look, it was what kind of expected. Like I said, we got to understand. Like these guys, plus 40 dudes, 25-year, it wasn't going to be, listen, if you were expecting like a fast pace, like, I'm like, you came to the wrong match. In fact, if this match was 15 years ago, yeah, I'd say you're right. But it was kind of what I expected. You got two dudes, two guys very familiar with each other, and that also helps a lot. They know what to do, and they know how to. They know they're very comfortable with each other in the ring, which is always important. And it's just like like the ref bumps. It's like look, like poor Chad Patton. Like my guy's outside next to the steps in pain, and then Eddie Ortega comes in, takes one shot of the belt, and then all of a sudden, we see half of the staff come. We're seeing Jamie Noble. We're seeing her. We're seeing Shane Helms. We're seeing all this. We're seeing all these dudes, and then I'm like, and then Randy, when he got in the face of all this, I'm like, this is not going to end well for all this. I've seen how this works. Aldous gets it. Noble. You know what? It felt like it was like SmackDown. Like we had the Hurricane. We had Noble. This feels like a SmackDown roster from like 20 years ago. It's like it's like
yeah, random jobber.
Right. It's like you just having do like, wait a minute, is this Backlash or this an episode of SmackDown about 20 years ago? Because I say Jamie Noble out there taking it, and all the, and low key felt like all this was like it was great. It's like people were thinking, oh, listen, was this their best match? Absolutely not.
No.
Like there's 3 or 4 of the matches that were way better than this, but that wasn't the goal. The goal of this was basically 2 things: give Randy the hometown pop, another championship title match, and for Cena just to further progress the type of character he is. And all boxes were checked. And it was it's one of those things.
And you had an R-Truth moment.
Right. And then R-Truth shows up. And then it's like, and he's like, Truth. And it's like, what are you doing here? And it's like, this match had it had low-key a nostalgic feel. Because, and I was okay with it, because it's like, I'm not expecting these guys to go, 20, 30, no.
No. This isn't Ricky Steamboat and Ric Flair.
Right. Like, it's like, listen, those, yeah, sure. But these two, and given their point of their careers, no. I was expecting maybe 20 minutes at the most. And we kind of low-key got way around it, maybe a little more than that. And that's what I expected. With the shenanigans and all. Like, folks, happy Randy got the title shot. And then we saw True, and then the ref, like, folks, this legit felt like the main event of a SmackDown 20 years ago. Because that's how literally these things would kind of end. And it's like, that was back when they were putting on, like, heavy, not saying they're not doing it now, but they're putting on championship matches like this, and there was, like, a couple of ref bumps, and, like, Brock a couple of F5s, and Arcade. Whoever it was, someone was taking a finisher, and a non-wrestler was taking a finisher. That's what, like, was going to be a ref, was going to be a personnel guy, someone was going to take it. It's like, I felt like this was like an episode of SmackDown. Like, I keep saying that. Like, Raw had way over the top endings themselves, but it felt like it felt like a SmackDown ending. All we're just missing. Do this as a favor. Define what you mean by match of the night. Best wrestling, biggest thing. Okay, that's a fair question.
Yeah, we can do that.
Like what when we mean like match of the night, when we talk about match of the night, we're talking about a match that kind of, there's a vibe issue, but you could feel the crowd was into it, and it felt like the mistakes were at a minimum,
and you could just you could talk about that match afterwards.
Right. It's like you can have a conversation the next day and break down how great it was from a storyline, from the match itself. It's just how but how I define match tonight is the vibe of the crowd. I look at the storyline, if there's a storyline that's worth there, and I look at just how great the superstars go at it and the chemistry in the ring. And
I got you.
And
What could
yeah,
just seen?
like, oh, absolutely. To me, that's what it took me back to that SmackDown like 2000. That's where
Yeah.
it took me back, and that's not a negative. I don't feel it's negative because it just felt like things like Jamie Noel alone. Like this is an episode of SmackDown. Like I'm like
I mean, yeah.
all we're missing is Nydia, and we're missing the Hurricane coming out there, and
We're
like
missing Holly. We're missing Molly Holly.
Molly Holly. Like, is she in the back? We can get a. And I can see where Craig is coming from. Like Craig is not wrong
Yeah.
here. It's just how it's how I think I've said this before on the show. How you define certain things will make up how you feel about it. And if matches like you could argue Orton and Cena, the nostalgia, the history between these two,
Yeah.
yes, and I totally get it. And like I said, I tell people this. I'm not going to tell you now. If you start saying that McAfee and Good was match of the night, then we have to have a conversation.
Amen.
Like, but I
It's
can
like,
argue. Yeah, it's like you can argue 3 of the matches on this card could stake their claim to match of the night. It's how you define it. Me personally, I give the edge to me personally. It's Becky and Lyra because of the storyline, because the crowd was into it, and it felt like those two in the ring were just the chemistry was there. That's just my personal. Now everybody else may not carry that, and that's okay. But I can understand where Craig is coming from here.
Yeah.
It's just like I always say, there's no wrong answers. It's as long as like Craig how he laid it out here. It's like if this was kind of like the Attitude Era and kind of like transition to the Ruthless Aggression. If you were this was the match for you. It's like it's the guys like us transitioning from the Attitude Era, and you're getting Ruthless Aggression. Like if you were, and Craig's point, like I said, Craig's point makes a lot of sense. So
yeah.
So, but just seeing Jamie Noble taking out, like Jesus Christ. It's like this is.
Here's what I'm going to say.
This is SmackDown.
Yeah, this was not a. It's like this. I have seen Randy Orton, John Cena matches. All right. Where we are.
Oh, I think. Oh, people care what I say, Craig. I don't know if that's true or not.
I will say this for Randy Orton, John Cena match. That was a good match. I think the Breaking Point I Quit match. It will forever be one of my favorite matches of theirs. There's other matches you can go to. This one will just be one of the footnotes, but it's a good match. It was just that's what I mean. I'm not saying there was nothing bad about it. I actually am okay with it. I think my match tonight, it's kind of like Ladarius. I think it was the women's because, of the story that you had building there. And I just enjoyed the Fatal 4-Way for what it was. It was a car crash, and you just need to see it. All 4 men did amazing. They were great. But like I said, I also like story, and that's where the Becky and Lyra come into is the story. So, but I thought Backlash was good. R-Truth coming in to save John Cena. Seeing the little glimpse of John Cena maybe regretting being a heel, I don't know. But let's just put it this way. He didn't regret it too much because during the press conference, R-Truth decided to show up to, tell him how much he's proud of him and had to remind him that the fans say he sucks and he can't wrestle, but he doesn't think so. But for some reason, R-Truth just kept on talking, and Cena's told him that, hey, next thing you say, there's going to be repercussions. And R-Truth must have not heard that. I guess R-Truth heard, tell me what you think. And he started telling him what, and I wish the NBA press conferences can do that. I would love to see some of these guys get FU'd through the table and just, have the person just look right at the stuff. And yes, we're about to wrap up Backlash. Yes, RIP to Sabu. So Sidahim Bischoff K. So, but yeah, RIP to Sabu. By the way, I don't know if you saw, but it was Karrion Kross. Surprise, surprise. He did a main event match, but he actually did the Sabu taunt before he got, or after he won, or before the match and then after the match. So big ups to Karrion Kross. So, but yeah, what did you think of that? I mean, Cena. Do you think we might be seeing maybe a tease of him eventually coming back before he retires? Because that would be kind of cool. But, or, you know, what do we see for Cena with this? I mean, especially with the R-Truth, you know that means Saturday Night Main Event. The rumor is that's where they're going to do that match.
Yeah, if we get that match, I would absolutely love it.
Mm-hmm.
Because for those, we have to remember that people look at R-Truth like as a listen, but he can go in the ring. Like if people, and we got to remember, like it was at the the Capital Punishment pay-per-view where he faced Cena, and it's like, and if I told you that was his lone like heavyweight champion, people wouldn't believe you. But and I think to kind of he has to face R-Truth during this run. It would not fit the narrative if we just skipped over it.
Mm-hmm.
I think if we get to that Saturday Night Main Event, I'm on board with it. And because just given the history between those two and how I would personally love it. And you could tell, like, you could tell, I don't know if you could tell, but like whether it's at the press conference or kind of like when he left the ring, it's starting to get to Cena. Like, we saw his character, but I think he started to understand that we're closer to the end than we are to the beginning of this. And I think he's understanding, like, there's so many, like he mentioned in a promo, there's so many dates left. And like we're understanding, like, oh yeah, we're in May, but like we're pushing almost the halfway point. We're nearing the halfway point of his farewell tour. And I think it was important to have R-Truth there at that press conference, because you could tell for John, you could tell that it meant something to have R-Truth there. Yeah. Like through all the nonsense, it's like you could tell, like, okay, you could tell that it meant something. And so the nostalgia, I hope we do get it, because it just makes sense to have R-Truth at some point face Cena at least one more time. Get and kind of connect the timelines and things of that nature. Jesus, Craig. I saw your comment, Craig.
Kirk Cousins with an RKO placed on a table.
I don't know. Is Kurt healthy enough to do that? I don't know.
You see, hold on. That probably, I would say Drake London would do the attitude adjustment to him.
Yeah.
Like, boy, fumble that ball again. We know somebody that would, take a shot. Anyway.
We won't mention any names, Ron, but
Yeah, Ron would have a belt. But anyway, we won't mention the person the last time brought a belt into something, and he doesn't work for that company no more. Thank God. So, all right, Monday Night Raw. We started with CM Punk. I like it when we start with something, but it kind of goes for like the flow of the show. And CM Punk just talking will always do it, especially when he's calling Paul Heyman the Penguin.
You can't unsee it. You can't unsee it.
Yeah, and then Seth Rollins as Timu Punk. So, I mean, he did try to pull the Messiah thing out one time. So, I mean, Punk was anyway, the city is Satan or something like that. Oh, anyway, when he pulled that whole cult gimmick, which he did really good, by the way, for that chick who shaved her head, who's like invisible in AEW. We don't even know where she's at. Anyway, got it.
Serenity, if you're watching, I know who you are.
Oh, that's her name. Thank you. I have no clue. I couldn't remember. Put you on TV. You deserve to be on TV. All right. There we go. See? That's all I'm trying to say. But God forbid somebody keeps WWE out their mouth, Mr. Will Ospreay or Ricochet. By the way, Javon Evans, master cook, master chef of the WWE Twitterverse.
Jeez.
Man cooked not only the promoter, but Ricochet. Oh my God! Did you see any of that? By the way,
Yes, I did. Hey, I saw the cokehead, and then I'm like, you know what?
I didn't like that. Rashad, Javon was like, "I want to help the indie scene."
It's like it just feels like I here's the thing. It just kind of feels like both of like guys. Just a part of me just says, "Hey, just compete." But like this, and like just when they go online to each other, listen, they cooking one another, and I'm like, and it's sometimes more entertaining than like listen. Listen, is Javon Evans worried about being sued for libel? No, he's not. Doesn't care. Look, you just call someone a cokehead on social media. You basically called him Tony Montoya on social media, and it's like, come on.
I mean, he's probably been talking to Ricky Saints, and Ricky had to drop a couple of dimes about, Mr. Snowflake. Anyway, but yeah. So look, all this was to get Punk in getting interaction with Braun and Seth. Sammy comes out, so obviously we find out later on it's going to be Saturday night main event: Punk and Zayn versus Braun and Seth. Now they also helped. Now Jey Uso came and helped too. So do you think there's a third person going to be involved? And if you do, who would you put as your third person?
Oh, that's a great question.
Yeah.
Listen, I hope they booked this better than they did that Deep State and D'Angelo stuff, because I think math is always important. There's two of them. There's two of them, and there's three. Like,
oh, hold on. To be fair, in the promo where Seth is talking to Braun, he goes, "They think they outsmarted us. Like we didn't know there's three of them and two of us." So your guy,
he knew. Listen, I told him. I said, "Listen, you can't go and look like that D'Angelo guy. Like, listen, Seth, you're better than that. You're a Grand Slam champion. You're a main eventer. You're an innovator. You're a messiah. You can't go around doing stuff like that." And so the speech worked. The speech worked. Now, as far as the third guy, that's interesting because you could kind of go a lot of different routes. But if I had to give a name, I don't think it'll happen, but I would love to see it. A part of me is low-key feeling like I would love to have Karrion Kross somehow be a part. I know it's not going to happen because I think Karrion is maybe they're doing something different, but it just kind of feels truth is an absolute defense to slander. Thank you. Yeah, the wise man is also a legal representative. We here at Wrestle Take do not condone the comments made. It is a show made for entertainment purposes. But I think Karrion Kross is the name. I think you could go. See, it's super difficult because I would have liked Drew McIntyre as a matter, but now that he's hurt, I don't know. There's a couple of people. Listen, I'm just glad we're getting a third person because it just seems like math in that company as of late not been great. So it's like if Seth Rollins can get a third guy, why couldn't you go get a fourth guy, D'Angelo?
Here we go.
Like, you sent Christofino down to Evolve. You could have been like, hey, Sean Legacy, do you want to join us? Hey,
Cappuccino Jones.
Arlen Lewis, do you want to join?
Yeah.
It's like, Hell, you do a long shot. Hey, Bryce Donovan, do you want like you? There's so many routes you could have went. I
The
just named
Carver
three
game
dudes.
that beat you.
Yeah, you could hit Keanu Carver. Like I just literally named 3, 4 people, and you couldn't get anybody. It's like okay,
You couldn't even talk to Tim Thatcher.
he's just he a former.
We're gonna go there.
Anyway, let me get back on track.
Yeah. Let me bring you back in. We're talking about Punk, Seth
But-
Rollins being smart.
But like Seth knew that Seth sensed it. And listen, the fourth guy is going to be interesting.
Yeah.
It's going to be somebody maybe on the radar, off. I could have made a case. It could have been Jeff Cobb, but Jeff Cobb's with, because I figured Jeff Cobb was going to come up at some point.
Yeah.
But I'm just curious to see who that third guy, because there's going to be a third guy. And Daniel, I hope you're watching and listening when I say that's leadership. You have to think ahead, not behind. Don't negotiate yourself in a position where you have less people than the other people. I mean, I'm just saying, if you were a general, you would send out less troops because you don't know what you're doing. Hey, you 150 guys, you stay back here.
We got this.
Wait a minute, they have 100 more guys than we do. And how many did you leave behind? Shut up. So I'm super curious. Do you have any inclination? Do you think the third guy is?
Well, the one name you said that I'm hoping it is Karrion Kross. I am also of the Karrion Kross belief, because why not? I mean, especially if Drew's out. If Drew's out, man, come on, just pull this guy. This guy could work well with Seth as well as with Braun and Paul Heyman. Don't tell me there's nothing you can't do with that threesome. And then you want to add another guy? I'll bring it up again. Austin Theory. See, just because you ditch your partner don't mean you could be a babyface. He could go to Seth.
Yeah.
There's history there. Or Seth goes to him. So it could go any round of ways, but yeah, I'm like, it's like this. The reason I'm I look at it that way is I want Braun to be the future piece, because that's how they're billing him, as the future. Seth is the guy that's, the leader. And for the right price, do you join the family with Darius? Oh,
there is no price.
yeah. That price tag does not exist. So, all right.
Yeah.
This is what bothered me and what I thought would end up happening. All right. Commercial spot. We see Penta come out. Chad Gable's about to come out. And then Michael Cole's talking, and you hear the, what? Let's go. And completely buried the match. Because everyone's like, oh, that's Pat. And, I thought it was SNL skit. It's Pat. We didn't know if it was a guy or a girl. And it's
time for androgyny.
And I swear to God, Paul, the last stuff. What's up, though, Cedar? What's up there, Millie Mills?
Millie?
But yeah, so, and then Michael Cole. Because he does this as soon as, oh, thank you. So glad you. Like Craig said, we're going to have to do a investigation about this. All right? Because you thought Michael Cole was just going to, wet himself because, he was going to have to call commentary by himself. Oh, no, I'm medically clear to talk. So, anyway, they had their stupid party, frat boysness, and then we saw homeboy go from there to doing his what was it? The match, which the match itself was pretty good because this was the first time since Penta debuted he went against Chad Gable. So, what did you think about Gable? And then, if you want to comment about Pat's, greatest arrival, I mean, didn't show up on time or anything, but just showed up when he wanted to, I guess. Pal.
Jeez. Look, I thought to me, I think having him come out before it did kind of take some of the,
Okay?
I don't want to say energy, or it did take something off when they, I felt like it took away from the match to a certain extent. But I thought the match was fine given what it was. It's just like I said, I'm not going to be as anti Pat McAfee as some people on the show. You can all get.
No, I'm not anti.
Listen. That's like me lying, saying I love Tony D'Angelo. Stop the lies. Hashtag stop the lies.
Stop the lies.
Stop the lies. But the match was fine, and like I said, I think to a certain extent. Listen, I'm not. I guess the best way. I'm not hating on. I'm not going to hate Pat. I don't like hating people in general. I just feel that you could have did that and just gave Pat his own little thing and not have it be before a match, if that kind of makes any sense. If you were going, because the one thing I would say that kind of, it's not like a angry thing, but time for androgyny. Here comes Pat.
I would prefer SNL Pat on commentary.
Oh, that's a great. Listen, the movie not so great. The sketch, that's an example of Saturday Night Live. Not every sketch is worth the movie. Like, there are exceptions. The Ladies' Man, fantastic movie.
Oh, The Ladies' Man is one of my all-time favorites.
With Mary Catherine Gallagher, Superstar, fantastic movie. It's Pat. Stop. Now,
and that's how I felt. It's Pat. Stop.
For every Wayne's World, there's It's Pat. Now,
sorry. Go ahead.
Your move, Lauren. Now but I would want them to give him his own thing and not take away from the. It's not like an angry, I'm angry about it, but
I just felt like it just kind of took away when you had that whole first segment before Penta would have came out, and you did that. That would have been fine if you would have. You see what I'm saying? I wouldn't have.
Yeah. It felt out of place. I guess it's the best.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to take away from the match. The match was fine. It's just
the match was good.
I just it's Pat, and then Pat showed he had a busted his eye, with the vein.
We run over the review of this because
So yeah.
He was he was busted up. You knew he was going to be. When he took that shirt off and there was nothing, like no tank top, nothing, I'm like going, Gunther's chopping that chest. It may not be that many, but whatever he gets a hold of, that's going to hurt. I thought that, like I said, I really did. I thought the match between the Penta and Chad Gable was good. I really did. It's like Chad Gable doesn't have bad matches. I tell people that. Even if he's dressed like Omos, who's dressed like, Americo Grande, I still think it's Omos. I don't think it's, because I haven't seen Omos in Mexico. So he could be him. He could be there. So a solid match. Nonetheless, Penta debuts, and then, they were talking about that. So, New Day showed up, and they were making fun of Pat, which is always a good thing for me. But yeah, Pat's talking about the blood vessel in his eye and look, I've seen those kind of injuries because, knowing quite a few guys. So I understand. But my thing is, Michael Cole's like, come on, Pat, just get up on the stage. Get up on the table. Come on, cheer him. And I'm just going, man, find someone that loves you like Michael Cole loves Pat. I tell you. Because now Craig's got that in my head now. I can't get that out. So, but of course, Xavier and Kofi were making fun of Pat McAfee and Michael Cole, which was grade A material. To the point I wish they would have stayed on commentary. But, we know what was happening. The Creeds pick up a surprise win against the War Raiders. So that means a little later on we find out that they're going to have a three-way match. I'm all for it, especially with both teams. Is there a direct fix to helping the Raw Tag Team division? Because I'm wondering maybe should they look when they are able to do when they get into the draft, they need to go and try to bring in either Fraxium or the Machine Guns. I would pick the Machine Guns, actually, to go to Raw. Mm-hmm. But what do you think that would help? I mean, what do you think?
I think they need to add at least 2 more teams.
Yeah.
And I think the Motor City Machine Guns work. And I could argue you could potentially look at NXT as if you wanted to and kind of get something from there. Because, like I said, I thought I'd never say this in a million years, but would they even consider putting Hank and Tank on the main roster? And that could legitimately happen.
Don't do that to me. Don't do that.
Listen, I
got Pat McAfee. That's enough for me.
It could happen.
You put those two with Pat, do you realize what those two, Pat and Michael Cole, would be on us? That's hell. We can't have that. No. Hold on. I got it. I was going to debut this later, but you know what? That doesn't work for me, sister. That's right. It don't work for me.
And you said Craig did that, correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I actually have to say, he did a heck of a job.
Craig, we'll have a conversation, Craig. We can't have cameras like we usually do, so there'll be no cameras at the meeting.
Okay.
I'm not going to put
my hand. Do I need to send
on
you that copy of a picture?
I mean, you could. I mean, hey.
Okay.
I don't know if it'll come in time, but hey, things happen.
I got your back. You know that. You my homie. So it's all good. It's all good. Just make sure. Here we go. Because like I said, when I saw it, I was just like, he said, I know Ladarius will love this. I'm like, yes. So very proud. All right. But yeah, what do you think about this match? Was it good? Was it okay? Because it almost felt like the crowd died part of it to me.
Like he said, he's quoting Beauty and the Beast. There's something there that wasn't there before. Pat and Michael did.
Dog.
And just like that, Craig has ruined Beauty and the Beast. I'm afraid to ask.
Take her the pot, the luminaire, and the kid, the clock. Be our guest. Be our guest.
Who's gonna play Gaston? I don't even want to think about that. Now, you good? Yeah, you're done. Wait, listen. It can't be no worse than Jean-Claude Van Damme as Guile. It can't be no worse. It can't. That's the level of. Let's get a Belgian to play an American. Great. Didn't even try the accent change. Didn't even try.
Oh no.
Like if you saw Bloodsport and you saw that, he literally talked the same way. If he did. Like, did they not have dialect coaches in the 80s and 90s? You could tell.
That was one thing that bothered me too when I watched those movies. I was like, he's still talking the same.
We're going to fight.
Man, speak Chinese.
It's like, we'll be right back. Put back this up. We'll be back right after this. No, I think when you mentioned the crowd, I think like I'm not going to say crowds are terrible. I think we were so spoiled by those European crowds early on this year, and like their energy, and it's like, so I always say to myself, would a European crowd feel the same? Would they have, kind of felt that way during that match? And I don't know. So, like I said, that's the kind of barometer whether it's good, better, and different. But I think it was a match. And like I say, I go back to the state of the tag team division and I go, look, hopefully post draft things get better because I can't see how it gets any worse. And that's because, like I say, we might have to entertain the idea of Hank and Tank being on the main roster. But
I would welcome going back to the two tag or merging both belts and making them defend, or basically making them unprotected where they can go both to Raw and SmackDown. Because that would probably be the smarter way to go.
I think, here's why I agree. I think that, listen, I think they're doing with the women's titles. They've been doing it that way, unbeknownst. And it works because you're exposing it to all your brands. And listen, now you have I'm not going to say you could also put this thing on Evolve. I'm not saying nobody from Evolve is that, but you could do that.
Yeah.
Because there's great tag teams in Evolve. And swipe right. And then, to me, that,
what's called Cappuccino Jones. And then there's, the cartwheel, which I like.
I was going to say handspring somebody, but I got that guy. Sorry, pal. I don't know.
I saw him doing that move. I was like, God, leave.
Yeah, we need something fun like R-Truth and Elena.
I don't want to do that to LA Knight. I don't mind R-Truth though.
People in the club, what's up? Yeah, in the club. Yeah, what's up? Yeah, what's up?
I didn't think I was going to enjoy Awesome Truth like I did. So I kind of can see it. I just, like I said, I don't know, man. It's one of those.
Yeah, it's like.
But I do like throwing together tag teams if there's chemistry there.
Yeah, listen, Golden Truth wasn't that bad either.
No. That's kind of why I would like to see Karrion Kross team up with Braun Breaker. That would be really cool.
Oh,
that'd be a murder's row.
Yeah.
So Jey Uso. Now look, real quick. So we just said about Sami Zayn, CM Punk teaming up to go against Seth and Braun. Mm-hmm. That's going to be Saturday night main event. I want to say May 24th. So get ready for that. That weekend is going to be crazy wrestling all over the place.
Yeah.
But also big ups because there's a rumor that even though it's on the same day as All In, when they go to Texas, WWE may be coming to Atlanta for an all-women's show.
Oh, I did see.
For Atlanta, Georgia, and it will be Evolution 2 is what the rumor is. Nothing's been, stapled down or anything. We're still kind of like checking out, see what it could be. So once we get more info, obviously we'll see if that actually happens. What I really want is LA Knight winning Money in the Bank, and I think that ship sailed. And I'm workshopping new ideas. LA Knight, I don't know if he'll be a Money in the Bank. He might, but if not, he's still over. He's got that crowd. And that's the thing. If he can keep with the crowd still wants him, they'll find a way to use him. They're going to keep him in that rotation. So Jey Uso's talking about Logan Paul. They showed footage of Logan Paul punching Jey Uso. Everybody was losing their minds over this footage. Pat McAfee, Michael Cole, talking about how it was breaking records. I am on X. I did not see this thing pop up, and I review wrestling. So I never saw this supposed hit. And I'm just going, something's not right here. And I message some people like, I didn't see it. It's like normally when you see something, it gets around. But it never got around. So I'm just going, look, WWE, you don't have to cook numbers, okay? But if somebody forgot to spread that video around, that's on y'all. I mean, or that's on Logan if he's using his stuff to do it. But yeah, I just found that so interesting because I didn't see it come up until maybe I want to say that Wednesday or Thursday, and I was like, okay, and I don't care. I mean, I was like, because it's Logan Paul. And I almost feel Jey Uso said the same thing because he goes, he's going to show him up in the fans. They're going to go at it at Saturday Night Main Event. Gunther arrives. I was surprised Gunther wasn't allowed to stand on the table actually, and pour his heart out about how he was feeling after that long and hard fight with Pat Mac. Oh, wait a minute, didn't need to happen because he didn't have one anyway. But yeah, he talked about June 9th is going to be a match, and he'll take on either Logan Paul or Jey Uso. So I think we kind of know what's going to happen at Saturday Night Main Event. Dear God, does this mean Goldberg's going to interfere in this match? I really hope not, because I'm not. Look, I don't. It's like this. If you want to do an F finish where Seth and the guys get Jay disqualified because they're in a feud with Jey Uso, I have no problem with that. That actually makes sense. But if we're just bringing Goldberg, I don't even want to say it. Goldberg, so he can have his retirement match against Gunther. What do you guys say? I don't have anything to say. And by the way, when Jay was coming in, if you saw on the camera, Finn was having a nice little conversation with Roxanne, which was twice that's happened. And I know this because John Brooks sent me the video of it, and he messaged me telling me about it. So, I did get your message, John, and I really did. I did watch that, and that was the first thing I thought when I saw it was, yeah, John's going to send me that video. Yeah. And sure enough, I got it.
John's always on top of his stuff. He sends.
Oh, he does. If he calls something, if he calls something, bam, he's on it.
Yeah.
And it's his. You can't take it away. That's his.
John's always on top of the case.
Yes. Deputy Dog.
But Deputy Dog. But going back, listen, if I didn't want to believe that since Gunther lost the belt, he faced Pat McAfee, and now he has to face Bill Goldberg.
Well, he's going to face Jey Uso for the title.
Yeah. But you know what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
It's like since losing to it's like my biggest concern is I don't know if it's listen, as far as I'm concerned, like Goldberg.
You said it right.
That's how you want to end your career, my guy. Like, to me, it would have made a little bit more sense to have it be Braun Breaker be his final opponent, because there's the Georgia connection, and then there's the connection of his dad and his uncle, WCW connection. So there's a lot of. I would have listen. That would have been me. Like either way, Goldberg's going to get cooked. He's going to get sent back to his wife probably in pieces and not the same way he left. But I would have went Braun Breaker versus Goldberg because there's a lot of connecting the dots there. So, I mean, if we get Gunther versus Gunther having to face Pat McAfee and Goldberg in the same year, listen, I don't know. I'm people say Gunther's not getting buried by any stretch of the imagination.
No.
It's just that, so. Listen, if you need a guy to take somebody out, yeah, Gunther would kind of feel Gunther is still over. 80% of his time there has been a champion. He's fine. He's okay. There's no need to kind of, when he faces, if he's going to put on a great match against Jey Uso, so he's still around the title, or to a certain extent. So, but, listen, I hope Goldberg's okay. And I'm not saying before it happens, listen, as long as it's better than Goldberg, Undertaker, than that Saudi stuff, that I'm okay, because that hurts
it
my
could be
heart.
worse. It could be worse. You could be Ricochet to go against a one-legged guy that hasn't wrestled in a while.
Oh man, how you get a schoolboy pin? We're not going to even get nope. We
He's
here at
gonna try
Wrestle
to-
Take. We here at
Man,
Wrestle
geez.
Take do that.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. Oh, trust me. AEW is just it's trash. All right. Yeah, I went there. Yeah. AJ Styles versus Finn Balor. Actually, I thought this match was actually one of my favorites of the night. And that's just because of the history Finn and AJ share.
Mhm.
But, and of course, it's always cool when they bring it up. When you have Judgment Day, even though Dom wasn't there, you got to see everyone really involved. Then Penta came out of nowhere. And what did and Mysterio not being there at all. He was still learning the time zone, I believe, by JD with the skull. I mean, I guess,
like JD's big brain literally came into.
To be fair, I actually thought that was clever because he said 13 hours and he actually went a little past the skull. So he went, like past half. And I was like going, dude, the man's thinking, even though we can't. Look, the man about busted his guts on the announce table. I'm going to give him a little credit when I can.
Yeah, I've really. Okay.
Fine. And by the way, sick Mexican Destroyer on Carlito. But Penta, you don't need to do a Mexican Destroyer on the floor. I mean, you're poor Toxics.
He's like, but he just went like that to the crowd.
Yep.
Hey, we're all good.
Yeah,
we loved it.
As long as you can, do that now. If you went, and if he does sound like that, let me know, and I will tell you what he said in a private message. So let's see. Got that. Talked about that. All right, because we're actually in our main event, but also this is the Ladarius portion. Becky Lynch had a nice little promo. And I must say, even though I hate Pat McAfee with all I have, his rendition of a song that I actually like fits so perfectly. I am whatever you say I am. And if you know, Eminem's kind of took in that song, and I know, God, I can't remember her name, but it was Paul Simon's chick that sang the song. I am what
Edie
I
Brickell?
am. Yeah.
Yeah,
so,
Edie Brickell, New Bohemians, yes.
Yeah. There you go. Sorry, it's one of those. I'm old.
Is what I am, is what
I am, is what you are.
Oh, that's a jam.
Oh, yeah. Oh, dude, we could that especially gets me in a good groove,
how
too.
can people who look like me know that? Well, let me tell you something. People with glasses know music.
Exactly, pal. We both know music.
Just because I went in the sun a little too long doesn't mean I don't know anything. So
he knows his music. There you go. That's all you need to know. All right. So I'm throwing it to you because you got to hear the promo. And at one point, I almost wanted to go. I wanted to actually call you during it and going, did you give her cliff notes to what you've been saying? Because this was hilarious, bro. To a point that I need to ask, is Becky Lynch watching our show? Because if so, we need to have a holler. So go ahead, Ladarius.
Oh, well, first of all, what's up, Chris? A1.
A1.
Did an excellent job interview with Steve Weiss. Did an excellent job there. Check that out on his page. Listen, folks. I've been sitting on this show. I've heard. Listen, Becky's heard it. I've heard it. The whole Becky Hogan, the blah blah blah. Becky basically took this promo to tell you whatever you call her, that's what she is. And by doing that, here's what she did. She did two things. She took the power away from the haters. That's number one. And number two, all you did was make her even stronger than she already was. it blows my mind. Like, if you don't like Becky Lynch, the person, fine. But you can't deny Becky Lynch, the wrestler, and the work that she's done in this women's division. Her, like the Four Horsewomen, that to me, you could do a documentary on them and the work that they've done, not only fight against each other, and then by the way, you could do that because we're going to probably get Becky and Bailey at some point this summer. And we don't get it sooner. The point is, what Becky Lynch did on that microphone, she basically she hears what you guys said, the negative aspect. And she said, you know what? Fine. I'm not going to argue with you. I'm not going to fight you on it. Because here's the reality. Becky Lynch, whether people want to believe it or not, has done more for this women's division than most. And in that promo, she basically said, hey, if you want to call me basically Becky Hope, fine. You want to call me selfish? Fine. You want to call me all of these things? Fine. That's who I am. And the fact that she looked dead at the camera and said it, I'm like, folks, this is the heel Becky Lynch that WWE probably wanted years ago. But the whole thing with Nia it turned her to a folk hero, and then she became a face. So it was like, not you, Chris.
Well, I mean, we do have this picture, so I mean, that is what people may be laughing at. I mean, Becky's not Becky.
I mean, do you see me laughing? That's the more important part of the story.
That's true.
Like, if you guys think it's funny, great. Now, anyway, back to my point. To put a button on. Becky on the mic is a masterclass. And I say that word a lot. Becky Lynch admitting that she's Becky is more self-aware than, right. That's the point, Craig. She took the power out of the words. Because when people were throwing around Becky Hogan as some sort of negative connotation toward how she's booked, you know what she said? If you think I'm that, she didn't directly say it, but you could feel, that's what she said. Selfish. If I'm all of these things, fine. But let me tell people, and I'll say it once on this show, here's why I never understood why the Becky Hogan thing existed. Because I want someone to tell me who has put, and I tell people, be objective, who has put more over than Becky Lynch has. So I want people to name one person that Terry nasty ass American beer guy Balea has put over in his career. And more specifically, when he was at WCW, he had creative control. And once again, I reiterate the question: how many people did he put over? Because,
that's right, brother.
Because, Chris, I said that earlier on the show. I know you were late, Chris. I said that earlier on the show. That Becky's put over Lyra. She's put over Tiffany Stratton. She's put over Liv Morgan. She went down to NXT to put talent over. Right. And that's the problem. That was and that's when people say Becky Hogan, I say, first of all, does Becky, I feel, have a say in her stuff? Yes. But at the end of the day, she doesn't have the creative control like Hogan did. And I tell people, and it's not about this is not about like people want to make it a WWE or AW. Listen, I love Mercedes Moné, but you guys are walking around here calling her Becky Hogan. We're not calling her Mercedes Hogan. We're not having that conversation.
I haven't printed that picture out yet.
The two worst things that you could do for somebody is give them creative control and give them guaranteed money, fully guaranteed money. Never works. Never works. Because why? You give the power to them whether they want to show up and whether they want to do. It never works.
Nope.
And I'm gonna say this before I wrap it up. Like I say, Becky Lynch essentially, listen. Yes, Sasha was great. Mercedes, yikes. But and I love women's wrestling, and I'm being objective. I can be objective about that.
Mm-hmm.
But see, I said of the 4 horsewomen, I tell people this. When people are like, oh, why do you talk about Charlotte Flair the way that you do? I said, with Charlotte Flair, technically, if you want to say put over Tiffany Stratton, sure, fine. But that was like basically seeing Halley's Comet through the sky. Okay, you're not going to see it again. But with Becky, as long as Becky's in that company in WWE, she's going to continue to put that women's division over because she understands it, Bayley understands it, and to a certain extent, Charlotte understands it. That within the next, and you're seeing a transition, whether you want to believe it or not. You're seeing it like in this Becky and Lyra feud, she's handing the keys over to Lyra. And what you kind of saw with Charlotte, maybe low-key handing it to Tiffany Stratton. You're going to start seeing a transition. And that transition is being led by, whether you want to believe it or not, Bianca Belair. Bianca Belair has beat every horsewoman except Charlotte Flair. All they do is put people over. Becky and Bayley. And them two are getting a feud. So what she did on that microphone, let me tell you something. Now, like I said earlier, masterclass, but she took the words, and you know what she did? She threw them back at you and said, do better. She said, do better. Do you think Charlotte put Becky over?
Becky over.
Do it. Here's what I'll say to that.
Mm.
I'll say more to the answer of yes. And that's why, but Charlotte probably didn't want that to happen. Because the base of everything that I've read and seen, Charlotte unintentionally probably put Becky over, but that pissed Charlotte off because Charlotte, it's like this. It's like you look in a group, when you think you want to be the star, but you know someone's better than you want to push them as down as possible. That's what Charlotte did to Becky. Like, remember, go back to those days like SmackDown where like Becky, they were back there like Charlotte was the champion, Becky was eating quinoa and all of that. And She never wanted Becky to be better than her. But when that happened, then the friendship kind of changed. And she spoke about this, I think, on Ariel Hawaii. I think Hawaii. Yeah. So somewhere on my mouth. I apologize.
No, you're
but
fine,
she
bro.
spoke with it on Ariel's show. She spoke, he asked a legitimate question. And she's like, hey, we don't, there's resentment there. But that's a great question, Chris, because I think Charlotte's intention was to help Becky get seen, but not to get over.
Mm-hmm.
That was the problem. And once Becky was the inaugural SmackDown Women's Champion, then you started to see this emergence over Charlotte. And, I'm like I said, I keep saying, but I'm going to really say this and be done.
Okay.
At the end of the day, when Lyra is going to be to the moon. And Becky could go, and listen, y'all, I said, all you haters out there, you're going to get your wish. When Becky Lynch goes away, you're going to get your wish, and you're going to wish that you want her back. It's what I say. When we talk about all-time greats, enjoy them, no matter the sport. Enjoy them, because you may not see them again. Yes, Chris. Yeah, until next week. Yeah. Always, but like I said, enjoy the greatness that you're watching. Because I'm telling you, when Becky leaves, probably end of this year, or sometime 2026. Because she's good making that transition to Hollywood because she has that personality and she has the work ethic and the charisma for it. I don't want to hear it.
Yep.
It's like, you're gonna miss me when I'm gone. Yeah, it's like that song from Pitch Perfect. You're gonna miss her when she's gone. So I'm good. I wish I had some. Take my ticket for the long way round.
Oh, sorry. All right. I'm going to say this too. I've always said Bailey's been the best technical wrestler, the best bumper, okay?
Yeah.
When I think of Becky Lynch, I don't think of any of these problems. If anything, I look at her as that workhorse woman. I think of her as the person that fought the system to fight through to show that she was that person. Okay, did she get lost in it? Yeah, she did, but it's fine because she knows who she is now. And quite honestly, this heel run is going to be great because she's basically saying, whatever you say I am, I am. So I don't care about. I think the one person when I think that could be used as Hogan is Mercedes, not Becky. Just on the simple fact that the husband, workhorse also, but not just that. But look at the work she did in NXT. That does not go unnoticed. And I'm not talking NXT when it was black and gold. I'm talking NXT 2.0 when people were making fun of it.
Yeah.
Okay. So that needs to be said too. Rusev is going to kill anybody in his way, so that's good. So we're still on that note. So the main event was Roxanne and also our girl Julia, and then not just that, but we also got to see Io. Love the new backdrop, by the way, with Io. Love the screen and everything. It looks really cool. It looks so her. And then look, I am tired. I feel like I'm in your place, Ladarius, when it comes to Rhea Ripley. Because I feel like where people crap on Becky, they've been crapping on Rhea. This woman just did a tour to Australia, her home country. She gets to stay a little longer. That's fine. She should. How many times do you think she gets to stay home? Or be at her home country to see her family. So I really would like people to calm down. But Rhea tweeted, and it was saying women wrestling fans, saying women deserve better. Same breath. She's sleeping with the boss, or that's why she is where she is. She should retire. She doesn't deserve it. She's handed everything and never worked for anything. I hope she gets injured. You guys are the real reason it's so difficult to be taken seriously as a woman wrestler. If you put as much effort into your own miserable lives as you put into degrading the successful women, then maybe you would accomplish something. That was from Mommy. Get over yourselves. I do not understand the Rhea hate because for almost a year, she was a heel and everyone loved her. She becomes a face, everyone hates her. So to me, I just look at the fans and go, shut up. So I love this match, by the way. And if you watch this match, you'll see Rhea and Io were doing a lot of the bumps. They were taking a lot of offense from Roxanne and Julia. I don't make the call on who wins and who loses. I think I would have probably put Roxanne and Julia to win, but that would have been me. But they decided to put the match for Io and Rhea to win, which is cool. I mean, look, they're going to be able to do this again if they want. What do you think about? I mean, what did you think about the match? I pretty much enjoyed it, but what do you think?
Yeah, it was a great. But first of all, I want to say I agree with what you said.
Yeah,
as someone who's covered women's wrestling and someone who loves talking about it,
yes,
it's bad enough like Big E said when it came to age for the women's wrestler. It's
that was a good thing by Big E, by the way.
And it's and then the counterpoint had I said, look at your main title picture before we start talking about women's ages, and then for Rhea to say that because there's always going to be that narrative that and listen, people may have said about here's the thing, you can look however you can. It's not a crime to look beautiful and be talented. I hate to tell people that.
Yeah.
Listen, I look semi decent, but when it comes to women, it's always that narrative that they can't look good and be successful without them doing something extra. No,
Exactly.
it's called not being a dick to people and treating people the right way. Anyway, now back to your question, because like I say, when it comes to women, it's always been the narrative. So
Mm-hmm.
I had to get that out there.
No,
For this
that's why
match,
I was so happy for her to put it out there
yeah.
and say what she said, because sometimes look,
And the thing is, she's not the
wrestling
first.
fans can be idiots.
Yeah, and it's not the first time someone had to put that same thing she put out there.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's worse.
Yeah,
It's just
it
that
is.
it's just that if a guy does what she does, we never question it. We say, "Oh, he worked hard and got to that position." Well, why can't we say that about Rhea Ripley? Go look at the evolution of Rhea Ripley. Go back to the Mae Young Classic.
Mm-hmm.
I said it's on YouTube. Go watch. A lot of the people that you love were in that tournament
Yeah,
and
And
did
they-
fantastic.
yeah,
And they earned and worked their ass to get to where they are. But if some jagoff can't accept that a woman can't get to where she is without extracurriculars. And I'm like, that's always going to be the narrative. And I'm telling you right now, you need to stop.
yeah.
I said, women can listen. There's always a blueprint. Like Miko Satomura just retired, and look, and she had a long career. She fought well into her 40s.
Yeah.
Stop. But anyway, going back, I didn't mean to get sidetracked, but back to your question. I think I would have kind of booked it the way you did to kind of put over.
Yeah,
But I think, but if you saw like off when the show went backstage and Roxanne and Julia were, talking like, oh, we could, and then Roxanne's like, what do you mean we? It's like this is what we're getting, and I'm like, you know what? We're gonna get that Roxanne stitch. Listen, it's like, and then Chris says, it's like I get it because it has happened in the past, but it doesn't have to be applied to everyone. Not everyone has to open their life. Exactly.
yeah, and the women they say that about, they're not. Yeah, it's not necessarily true. That's how I see it.
Yeah. Just because something happened 10, 50, look, time, people, I put it like this: either you change with the times, or the times are going to leave you behind in that time. And a lot of people, I tell people take that as you will. But going back to the match, listen, Julia and Roxanne, like, listen, they look great they look great in the ring. And like I said, what they're doing with Roxanne is interesting because we mentioned how she was talking with Finn Balor. And could we get like a break off of a Judgment Day situation? And with no Liv being there for a while, could we kind of get that situation? Could dissension amongst the ranks, as I like to say. And I felt that played into that match, and then I think they had to lose that match to get that dissension.
Craig said something here.
Come on, Craig. You. Oh
I tried to sleep my way to stop my decline. Damn it, Craig.
Yeah, I'll save my joke for later. Now,
look, Craig, you got 5 kids. There was a reason why someone declined.
like, they said that's a no for me, dog. There's something. They had the portfolio in their hand. They're like, nah, we can't. He's a family man, for God's sake. But I think them losing that match plays into more what they're going to do with Roxanne, and even with Julia. I think so. But I like it. It was a great match. Put up listen, anytime you have a match with 4 champions, which they all are, I always love it. And even though NXT, so to me, it was enjoyable. And even the backstage stuff with Roxanne, and even the off when they showed her, getting angry at Julia, we're gonna get that Roxanne, and it's gonna hit so hard. And that's something you root for, and I love.
Oh yeah, I think Roxanne's it's easily gonna be one of those. I think Dominic should be the.
That's why I was in, of course, Lip is going to follow me. So.
Interesting.
She, she is
Yeah.
the
I
club.
know. I'm still. That one still got me. All right. So because I know we're getting time, and I know some people like we could do 3 hour shows for some time, but not everybody wants to do 3 hours. So here's what we're going to do. So NXT, we had Miles Bourne show up, and if you don't know who Miles Bourne is, this kid is a guy who's not able, or his speech impediment, or he's hard of hearing. You know, he's got a deaf issue, and it impairs his speech. But kid can go. If we did a Hallmark movie of Randy Orton, that would be the character. He would play Randy. Let's just put it that way. His power slams look so much like Randy. It's just crazy. And the dropkick. But yeah, Ethan Page challenged him. They decided to put the number one contenders match, but Oba Femi was still supposed to go against the man, Charlie Dempsey. William Regal's son, first of all, Charlie Dempsey, man knows how to work. He really does. That was a better match than I expected, and I love Oba, so I don't have a problem with Oba, but it was a good match to see how they both would work together. We're gonna go into D'Angelo because that one needs a little more time to go into. But Miles does beat Ethan Page by a dropkick, of all things, by the way. I was very surprised by that. We had Thea Hale beating Tatum Paxley, which by disqualification. Thank God they did it. See, sometimes, when you have all these releases, you don't see how it impacts. We got to see Tatum lose her mind because her friend's all gone.
Yeah.
And that was freaking crazy. I loved how it happened. Then they played the Javon Evans, or if they play Super Sean Legacy. If you have not watched any of that, if you have not watched Evolve, check out some of Sean Legacy's stuff. He is really good. Can't stress it enough. But so Javon Evans is watching it on his phone. Adante, of all people, trying to tell him how to upstage a guy. But then Ricky Stark, or Ricky Saints, comes in and says, let's make that all work. And the winner may get a match at me. And I'm down for this. So even though I love Javon Evans, I'm also going to love my guy, Sean Legacy. And I'm sorry, Adonis, you taking the fall. I don't care because these guys ain't taking the fall. Tag team match, your girl, JC Jane, Miss Fallon. Y'all are having some issues, I've noticed. But it's okay because, Jordan Grace and La Primera, and I want to say La Primera, thank you. That outfit was amazing. Booker T wants to say thank you. He was going to stand up, but he couldn't for some reason. Let's just leave that there.
Would you believe why he couldn't? Now,
that was a very eye-popping outfit. Let's just put it that way. I just say she's the most natural lucha libre wrestler I've ever seen in the ring. She knows how to jump on the ropes, and I've never seen someone so comfortable. Even when, like that move where Tiffany actually jarred her with the rope, she still looked comfortable.
Yeah.
I've always seen luchas or some people just flop over. She just still was standing there, and I'm going, this woman is Spider-Woman. She really is. When they do movies, she needs to do them because she's going to be amazing in it. But all right, let's go into it. Favorite parts of it, we know about Trick and the Hollywood Trick and Joe Henry signing the contract. that still kills me when he says it out loud. It's almost like someone goes, "Did you just say that really out loud in front of everyone?" Yeah, I'm a Hollywood Trick. You don't say. Booker T on commentary, the new Jerry Lawler for this generation. All I can say is
I mean, to be fair, they're both kings, so
Yeah. Hey, maybe it's a king thing. You could do that when you're a king. But maybe you can't do things when you're a Don. So, Ladarius?
Like math.
Yeah, because, math is kind of hard, but.
And going to the safe house that's supposed to be called a safe house for a reason. Because we're not supposed to see the safe house.
So, yeah, go ahead, Ladarius. I'll let you go for this one.
So now here's the thing. Okay, now the whole thing. Okay, he took an L in a match.
Yeah.
First of all, and then he's gonna run to his fancy car, which is not really
and kidnap somebody.
Correct.
With a camera.
Like a lot of crimes going on here. And then you take him to the safe house.
Yeah, he said the safe house.
The house that you're supposed to be safe at, that no one's supposed to know that it's a safe house. And then all of a sudden Stack shows up and beats the crap. Like, good. Because Stax knows D'Angelo's playbook. That he knew he was going to show up to the safe house that's supposed to be safe and beat the bejesus out of him. And I'm like, y'all got me out here saying, oh, you should root for Tony. No, I'm rooting for Stax. I told you weeks ago. I'm pulling for Stax. Because, listen, imagine when you work for someone and you're taking the initiative, which is always seen as a positive in any workplace. But no, what does D'Angelo do? No, you want to get in his face. I handled this. You did a terrible job. Basically, it was Cristofino, Stax, and 2 extras from The Sopranos 20 years ago showing up in the NXT parking lot, the most dangerous place in the tri-state area of Florida, and to take on all 4 members of Deep State. Four. And then you show up. I guess there's a late. Oh, I guess Ace Hardware stays open late apparently, and so you ran in. You probably got a sandwich, and then you went to Ace, and then you drove with the crowbar into there, and then you want to start attacking people, and then all of a sudden, then you want to say, "Oh, I made a deal." Cool. So it's going to be 4. Who's the 4th guy? What are you talking about? It's us against them. There's 4 of them. 4. Uno, dos, tres, cuatro. There's cuatro people.
4.
Or
cuatro.
Un, deux, trois, quatre. There's people. In any language, it was 4. And then people were like, oh, and then what he did instead, good. Stax got tired of Trump. He's second in command. He tried to take charge. And you didn't like that. So
you didn't like being tagged in.
It's like you were offended after Stax did the work. You were offended. You got tagged in, and good. And I saw the low blow happening. I wish you to do a little bit more like Paul Heyman, use his full bicep to get all of it, because that's what you deserve. If you're going to blow somebody, just put a lot of chutzpah in it. It's all you got to do. And then you fast forward to what we saw Tuesday. It's like, I don't even remember who you fought because you lost.
Wesley.
Well, it's Wesley. You lost to Wesley, and all of a sudden now you took a camera guy who was part of WWE, by the way, so now he's an accessory. Now his family's probably screwed. And you go down to the safe house. We're not supposed to see. I've seen The Godfather. I've seen Goodfellas. I did not know. We've seen the inside of the safe house. We've never seen the actual physical safe. There's a reason for that. There's a reason. And then before you could even get out of the car and out on the sidewalk, here comes Stax beating the crap out of you. And a black hat. And I'm like, good. Because, of course, Tony D'Angelo needs. Oh, let's see. Yeah. Listen, I might lose because he has multiple crowbars. I can't compete with that. And make it sponsored by Ace Hardware. Yeah.
I don't know. I kind of like your chances against him. We just need to. Hey, look, he doesn't know who Ladarius is.
Yeah. Hey, where's that son of a bitch? I'm that son of a.
we'll all be wearing masks and we'll say I'm Ladarius.
Hey, work for Spartacus did it.
You know what? I say let's do it.
Yeah, because the height. Yeah, it all works. But I'm going to end by saying this: anybody supporting Tony D'Angelo, you have a right to. But Stacks has always been. Listen, he made a whole guy disappear. What's the last time we see Luca Cristofino? He made a whole guy disappear. Like, yeah, we see Copperfield make the Statue of Liberty disappear. Sure, but at least Copperfield brought it back. Okay? Like, we've seen David Blaine do some stupid stuff, but he was okay. David Blaine was okay. But you know what? You know what Stacks did? He made a whole guy disappear in the desert. It's like, oh, why would I come here to the desert? That's Tony D'Angelo not thinking mindset. Do it. You could have did it on the Sunset Strip. Where there's people around. There's witnesses. No. You agreed to meet him in the desert, and Nevada has a lot of desert. No one's finding you. No one's finding you. You're cooked. No one. I haven't heard Luca Cristofino. Listen, yeah, he evolved his way out of the picture. That's what happened.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
Yeet.
All that had to be done was Cristofino get a fourth guy. And maybe Luca's still here today. But you know what happens? He's not sleeping with the fish. He's probably sleeping with the rattlesnakes, for all we know.
He sure ain't sleeping with fishes.
Because
Hold on. Is Tony the worst mafia Tom of all time now? Or is he the running? He is. Because let me put it this way. I've watched Mobland now with Pierce Brosnan.
Yeah.
And his son. They're they're more effective than Tony.
Exactly. You know what they had? You know what Pierce Brosnan knew? He was 007. He knows. Listen. And even he knew. Like,
and his wife was in the movie Red. The old lady.
And she was the queen. So clearly. She understood.
And I think the guy in Venom plays the son.
Yeah.
The guy that was playing Eddie was.
Yeah,
he's the Enforcer's son, so he's cool.
And then listen, John Malkovich and Morgan Freeman from Red could be better done than Tony D'Angelo. Because you brought cameras to the one place. It has the word safe in it. It's like going to your bank and showing people your actual safe. So you're like your lockbox. But hey, come look in here. No, we're not supposed to see it. It's supposed to leave things to be a mystery. I'm not supposed to know where your safe house is. It's supposed to be a regular house on the street, and you may show up every once in a while. Like Goodfellas, listen, they had a plan. The great late Ray Liotta could have been a Don. Okay?
Yeah.
Joe Pesci could have been a Don.
Even after he got shot.
Yeah. We're not going to talk about what happened. He went into that room, and then we're not going to talk about that. He made a mistake. And listen, in that situation, you don't get a second chance. And I'm not
to be honest, if the Don was in that situation, he would have gotten shot still.
Yeah. And then this is the same guy that surrounded himself in the ring. And they attacked him. Nobody likes your leadership. It's like, imagine that's how Abe Lincoln, that's how we got Secret Service. Because you're the president of the United States. Why are you going, hey, you suck, president. Why are you going out? I'm going to kill you. Why are you not having security? It took poor Abe to get shot at watching a play with his wife to say, hey, man, we need to protect the president. What? You're telling me that wasn't a thing?
Who was the person that thought that up, too? He was probably like, guys, we may not want this to happen again.
Look, we don't need a part 2 of this. But it happened again. But the point is, when you're in a position of leadership and you surround yourself, literally your number 2 guy turned on you. That means anybody. And what do? You surround yourself with these guys. Some I recognize from Evolve. Look, I saw Dragon. I saw him.
I don't know, man. I've seen them. They look like Star Trek red shirt guys.
Either listen, Picard wouldn't have put up with it. I'm gonna leave it at that.
Amen to that.
Picard, maybe Kirk, sure, not Picard. You around with Jean-Luc Picard. You know,
Jean-Luc was all about protecting his people. Kirk,
exactly.
not so much.
Hey, Tony D'Angelo, oh, well, how can I be betrayed? Because you yell at the people who are trying to help you. And whatever. You brought a crowbar. A crowbar. That was your solution. A crowbar. And you were driving with the crowbar. You couldn't throw it on the side. Was anybody in the car with you? You could throw it on the passenger. You know what? People say, "Oh, root for the good guy." No, I root for Stacks because Stacks is the guy from Office Space. You get tired of management just telling you what to do, and you're trying to help man, and man are telling you, "Oh, well, we get no."
And then they take the stapler.
Right. But Stacks take that stapler and put it on Tony D'Angelo. Good.
I think we may have the all-timer. And by the way, Hollywood Trick still getting up there. I appreciate Trick doing that to himself. And also, that contract signing could not have been more staged and more.
Yeah, it felt like there was a lot of pre and post production stuff.
Yeah, I wish they would have went to the camera sooner because I wanted to see if maybe the cue card guy was going to go. Oh, yeah.
Oh man, imagine being that guy. Oh man, you drop one card. I mean, you can't.
Tricks reading it too fast. God damn it! Slow down.
I'm gonna get you, Joe. Card, Hendrick.
Pause. Really angrily.
Hysterically. Say Hollywood Trick.
It's like, Trick, you were in a CW show. Let's not say you were Hollywood yet, okay?
I mean, I don't think that was even filmed anywhere in Hollywood. Production value matters. Listen, don't let people fool you and say it doesn't matter. Oh, it matters.
Look, we all know who are the real actors. That's Andre Chase and his tag team.
Right. And then he got his school back. Like, come on. Hey, can we get
That's another conversation for another day because I know you.
Like, we're all okay with this. Like, we right? Like, what?
I'm with you. I didn't know how he got it back because I was just like, okay, so wait a minute, he got it back? Like, did Rich Holly just look at him and go, "Here you go"?
Yeah,
I didn't want it.
No good. Yeah, no, listen, I got a condo on the beach. I don't need this.
Yeah, I got things to do, so no problem. Hold on. He saw all the releases and was like, "Look, before anything happens to me, here you go."
Like, I don't want no issues, so you can take it back.
And he's like, "Oh, okay."
Is this the right thing to do? Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't overthink it, pal. Just do it.
Yeah. There you go. We're good. We don't even need a match. Don't worry about it. No worries.
But
no. Say less. Hold on. Rid puts his finger over Chase's lips. Don't do it. Just leave it be.
Do it.
There you go.
What did Nike say? Just do it.
Now I'm going to leave before your boys walk in and ask questions.
So I want to take the side door, but remember what I said.
Good. It's done.
But you're still talking. You're too handsome to be talking.
And then that top for Stephanie Backcourt, my God. Woman, salute. My Lord. I'm watching it. She walked out. I'm like, whoa.
I'm going to go get the seat up. We're going to get the seat.
Yes. And then I heard Booker, and I'm like going, I so channel Booker right now.
I mean, like, you see Vic Joseph?
I thought I heard Corey go, maybe there's a reason why Booker couldn't get up. I'm like, dang.
He sure looked fine to me. He gets his pin. So oh,
I love NXT. It at the moment, especially if I see the Dawn, I really enjoy it because I always go, man, I know Ladarius is going to go off on this because I'm watching and I'm just going, or it's like I'm watching the match. I'm like, all right, so Stax is going to interfere. Then I hear Stax and I'm going, wait a minute, what's going on? And then he's like, I'm over at the safe house. Didn't think I knew about that, did you? I'm like going, in my head, my first thought was, bro, did you seriously say go to the safe house and not think that he knows where that is? I know where the key is. I got it in my hand.
Like, safe house.
You see Tony D'Angelo trying to put his finger on the screen.
Like, just be pretty. What? It's like,
oh my God.
Listen, folks, listen. Sometimes, like, listen. See, we always think like, the women, like, no, listen. You gotta tell some dudes like, just be pretty. Just don't do anything, because like that's how you blow it. Like, can
sometimes
he do
you
that?
have to look at people and just go,
It's okay.
Don't let that pretty face think too much. You're doing too much.
You know what you do? You're moving your lips too much. Silencio.
Yeah. Silencio, por favor. Silence is golden. So, all right. Well, look, that's our show. Tomorrow, we are going to do a Morning Madness crew where we will discuss the schedule for the NFL. I believe it comes out later tonight at 8 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
So, have that ready, and we'll be discussing what we think, and we'll discuss about rookie camp and if Mr. Hayawasi dude wants to actually play football, or is he just going to wait till the Steelers trade everybody before he shows up? And then we'll talk about Derek Carr's retirement and find out what Ron thinks about Raheem's ankle. So you pretty much know where we're going to go on this show tomorrow morning at 10:30.
It's going to be a whole lot less of me, more of Ron. That's what we're advertising. So all this talking I did today is going to be a lot less tomorrow. So
you got to do some talking. I need you. So check us out, Ladarius and me, C-Dub. So we can't wait to get back with the crew. We're going to have fun, and then we'll go from there. So, Ladarius, tell the good folks where they can find you.
You can find me on Twitter and TikTok at Ladarius_Brown. You can find me on Instagram, Ladarius_Brown, right editor for Beyond Women's Sport. The WNBA regular season gets underway on Friday. So I'll show off my Seattle Storm shirt I bought, because trying to find a jersey is tough. I support my team for over 20 years, but like I said, check us out tomorrow, and everybody in the chat. Thank you, Chris, for dropping by. Craig,
yes,
as always, dropping by. I'm not going to
we had A1. We had Ron and A.
Yep. So to all of you,
Millie
all you
and
Millie show. Thank all of you for watching and showing up, and I'll see all you beautiful faces tomorrow, and work with this guy again as well.
All right. Well, C28 on YouTube, CAWTN on X. That's where you can find me. We'll be talking a lot about the Falcons tomorrow, just kind of giving our thoughts. Look, and we're not trying to predict numbers and, how many wins, who's going to the playoffs, all that. Ron and Kerry might, but, we'll see what we do. But we'll give our takes and what our thoughts are. And I'm looking forward to seeing how it comes out. So check us out 10:30 tomorrow morning. And I'm C-Double. That's Ladarius Brown. And unlike our entrance for this morning or the beginning of the show, we're just going to end the show. So see ya. Peace out. And no production.